It's the Scarves and Spikes pre-match show ahead of Atlanta United versus the New York Red Bulls at Sports Illustrated Stadium. we gotta Henry get it out of the way before we get going here. But sending Henry with you, Tyler coming in here shortly. Atlanta United looking for their third straight win, two wins on the trot, Henry, as they take on the New York Red Bulls in New Jersey. First thoughts about how you're feeling about this match?
I'm feeling cautiously optimistic. We asked for them to win the two home games for the momentum, right? We wanted to see that, and they got the job done. They won the two home games, and now they're starting that 6-game away stretch that we've so long feared and long talked about. And they're starting at a stadium where they've literally never won a game.
Right.
So, it's time for a big moment. And Ronnie Dyla talked about it at training. Like, this would be massive, not just for the 3 points, not just because, it shows that, maybe this team really is back, but, it's just you keep building that momentum, right?
Yeah.
And you need that. So I'm excited, at least, because there's signs that this team is playing decent soccer, and we'll see, man. The next stop is a win on the road, and today is their next chance to do that.
Indeed. Tyler, your initial thoughts on the match as we get ready for Linus to drop. Hope your phone's sideways.
No, it's not. I think you've got all the momentum in the world. You just have to go take advantage of it. And I kind of talked about it on Wednesday, but if there was any time in like a weirdo kind of 6-day 3-match schedule where it would benefit you to play the Red Bulls, this is it, because you don't need to go to the Red Bulls and try to control possession and hold the ball and do everything else. You need to, Bruno, I'll get my blue jersey on. But you need to go and let them have the ball. They don't like it. They don't like having the ball. They don't know what to do with it. So you're already tired. You're on 3 games in 6 days. So don't overexert yourself. Go, let them have the ball, figure out what they want to do with it, and then you hit on the counter, hit on the transition. Use all your speed that you have on this team, regardless of if you're tired or not, and play smart.
Guys, just one change from – no changes from Wednesday. Same group out there. Brooks Lennon was available, or I should say is available for selection this evening. He's off the injury report, but he's not starting again, as we'll take you through the lines here. Gazan, of course, in goal. Amador Edwards on either side. Abram Williams in the middle. Sleeves Fortune Miranchuk, and then sub on the right. Miggy on the left, and Latu Lat up top. That's how it looks again on MLSsoccer.com. We'll look for the Atlanta United lineup graphic to drop to see what this could look like from a tactical standpoint. But it looks like, or it sounds like, not many changes from the other day, guys.
It's the same. Yeah, they just posted it. It's going to be that 3-5-2. So don't worry, guys. People that are freaking out because it was a 4-3-3. Don't worry. It is the same exact lineup, except obviously you have Amador instead of Ronald Hernandez.
One change.
Yeah, that's literally the one change. But everything else is exactly the same. So I expect them to more or less play the same and continue. You don't change something that's working for you.
Yep.
I thought we might see a little bit of rotation. Maybe Miggy rests and you bring him on in the second half. Maybe you change something in that midfield and start Cleach or something. But no, they're just going to roll out, what's been working. And you do have a week and a half break after this. So that's something for them to recover. But yeah, I'm glad that they're continuing with what's working. And hopefully it works against this Red Bull side.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
keep doing the same thing. My initial thoughts. I'll go ahead, Tyler. I'll get
no. Carry on.
Those were like my same thoughts, Henry. Don't change what's not working, or don't change what's working. And Amador, I feel like, gives you a lot more attack wise. The thing that I kind of didn't like about Wednesday's match was the number of crosses, unsuccessful crosses coming from Ronald Hernandez. I feel like Amador can give you that bit much better for touch from the left side. So I look for more from Amador as far as crossing the ball into the box, hoping that either Latte Lat or Miggy can get to it. But yeah, don't change it. Don't change it. It's been working so far. It's been working for the past 2 matches, and hopefully they get a third straight win here at Sports Illustrated Stadium, Tyler.
Yeah, to me, Ronald Hernandez was always going to be the stopgap solution, right, at one of your wingback positions. I don't mind when Ronald plays, but Pedro is the better guy. He gives you a lot more in the attack. To be fair, his 1v1 defending was probably the worst we've seen at all in the last match when he played. But I'm not mad at that. You know, like he's probably well deserving of a rough match after what he did last year in the playoffs.
Right.
But no, I mean, Pedro, I think, is overall the more well-rounded guy. You're not losing a lot, though, when you put Ronald on, because at least, you know, you're getting a veteran who, even if he's not the most athletically gifted anymore, he can still make up for mistakes mentally. But then on the other side, I think that's my biggest that was my concern today was, are we just going to throw Brooks Lennon right back into the mix? And I don't think you need to. I don't think right now the way that this team is playing, and it's nothing against Brooks, because I know some people have very strong opinions about Brooks Lennon.
Well, some people are against it.
I like Brooks. I don't think that right now he's the best fit over on that right-hand side. I think Saba gives you more going forward. I think Saba, you know, no, is he the best defensively? No. I mean, that's not really what his job is, but with the formation that Atlanta's playing, he's going to have to defend at times.
Yeah.
Against Cincinnati, he was pretty good. Against
Orlando.
Yes, Orlando. It's all running together. Defensively, he was kind of rough, but they came out of it on the better end of things. So I just think with the way that Atlanta is going right now, with what you want to do as a team, attacking, you know, you got this $50 million attack that you're trying to break loose. You need to put all your eggs in that basket and not worry too much about what you might lose on that right-hand side if you don't have Brooks Lennon in there. I can't see the continuous crosses over and over again. They're not fitting this team. What Saba's doing, which is attacking into space, into the box, taking guys on 1v1 and putting in, you know, daisy cutter, you know, kind of low ball crosses, very short distance into the box. They're working because they're taking defenders by surprise. They're creating handballs. They're creating chaos, and Atlanta's getting on the end of them. So
he's leading the team in assists, bro. It's 6 assists that he has already this season. And so you got to look at those numbers and think, you know, he's doing something right, and you have to find a place for him to play. And the other thing about that is, you know, you kind of look at the bench right now, and you see some very good options for later in the game, the second half. You know, if you need to shore up defensively, you can always take Saba out, bring on Brooks. Hi, Stella. You should be in New Jersey right about now. What are you doing there?
I know. You should be in New York, New Jersey. That was my yeah.
She's pulling the classic like spirit bomb, you know, Goku thing. She's pulling all the energy. She's sending it to New Jersey.
Yeah, you both be in New Jersey right now, as Bruno said in the chat.
Yeah.
But you know, Henry, that was my question. Do we see Lennon in the second half? And you think we do? I don't know if we do. I think he gets a little bit of a run out depending on what the game state is. I think if Atlanta are winning, I don't think we see Lennon. Or I think if they are winning and it's deep in the match, and you need to defend, I think we do see him. If they're losing, I don't think you bring him out, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I would agree. I think, like, let's say you're in the last 15 minutes of the game and you really just need to hold on to a lead. I think you do bring in Brooks because he is going to be a bit better defensively than Saba. And by that point, Saba's probably exhausted from running the whole game. But, you have him. You have Ronald.
And for the whole week.
Yeah. And you also have Ronald who could potentially, you know, help you out if Pedro gets tired, even though, you know, we criticized a little bit his defensive work. You have Mateus Cleach, who he has come off the bench. Tiare, who has been just the super sub of the season so far.
Man in form, Jamal TRA.
And I really like him coming off the bench. What's up? And dude, honestly, dude, I really like this bench for Atlanta to supplement the team that they have out there. And so I'm interested to see how it all kind of comes together today and really where the game leads and what adjustments Dyla makes from there.
I think is TRA's goals per 90 more than Latte Latte at this point, guys?
It might be.
It has to be. I think it has to be at this point.
No, but it's good to see him, routing into form. Obviously, his health has been just quickly like Jamal. Fitness has been an issue the past couple of years that he's been here, but as long as he stays healthy, I think he gives you a great option off the bench, like we were just saying, as that super sub deep into matches. Latte Lot, let's talk about him. This is 9 matches in a row. I'm just taking a look here. Still without a goal since March, and you're looking at 9 matches in a row. Yeah, without a goal, 8 matches in a row in matches that he has started for Atlanta United without a goal. Do we start to get concerned with him? What do you guys think?
I'll throw this out there before I dip out on y'all. I'm not concerned about Latte Latte at this point. I think just in the past maybe 3 games, you could argue he's gotten to the point where he's actually getting the service that he needs.
Yeah.
I think combine that with a little bit of the panicky kind of nature of like being a striker and having to like force yourself to go. Sorry, Stella's having a little bit of a mood.
Yeah.
She's just excited.
She's trying to get that energy up to New Jersey.
I know.
But no, I think you combine that with just him being a guy that, I mean, strikers, they make their money off of scoring goals, right? Like that is all they have in their mind every game. And for a guy to go as many games as he's gone without scoring, that weighs on his shoulders 100%. Yeah. And Ronnie Dowling kind of talked about it in the last press conference, but he expressed confidence and like he's going to get it right. He's going to be fine. But this is really the time when it feels like the team has had a consistent bunch of matches where they're playing as a team and not as a bunch of individuals. And it's not perfect yet.
Called out in the chat here.
What's that? Oh no.
Sorry.
But
go ahead.
but no. I think just in general, like you need a guy like Latte Latte to have a handful of matches that are consistent where he's getting what he needs, which is service. And I think you go 8 games where you're just not getting service at all, and then all of a sudden like something changes and you are. It's like, hey, we've got to adjust a little bit to get him really involved. And I think if you go this game, I would argue maybe put it into next game where he doesn't have a goal or an assist. Then like there's a little bit of like, all right, what do we have to do to get him involved more?
Right.
But I don't think it's like the sky's falling. He hasn't had consistency, and out of all the positions on the pitch, the one that you really, really want to be consistent, to be the strongest that it possibly can be, is a striker.
Yeah. I definitely credence to that, and I mean to be like the person rain of the parade, but yeah, I mean he's been in spots where he can score, but he hasn't been able to put the ball in the back of the net over these past few matches. Hopefully, he does get his goal tonight and kind of breaks the stuff that he's been on. Henry, you're kind of calling attention to someone in the chat saying Miguel Marone is a concern. I know Tyler won't like that, but I think, I think there's definitely credence to both arguments. And I'm not saying that Latte Latte is a bust. He's not the problem with this team. There are deeper problems with this team. But hopefully, before long, he can start scoring again. Kind of switch it to Miggy. Hopefully, Miggy finds the form that we've been looking for him from the past, for the whole season.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're just both going through a patch where they're not, it's not their best moment. I I'm not saying that they're bad players. Obviously not. We know Miggy is talented. We know Miggy has ability and he can help the team. And we also have seen Latte Lat scoring goals. And the goals he scored, by the way, and I've said it again, I'll keep saying it, they are not the goals that we were sold on from him. Like headers and kind of, tap-ins from like loose balls in the box. That's not what we were told he was here to do. He's here to latch onto through balls, to get in behind back lines and score one-on-one. And he hasn't done that yet. And that's not saying that, he's not good at that. Obviously, we've seen the highlights. He's had a couple of chances and he's been unlucky with those chances that they haven't gone his way. You could argue he could improve his technique, whatever. But the case is, he also hasn't gotten a whole lot of those chances. If we're being honest, we're talking about an Atlanta United that is the bottom of MLS in terms of through balls. They have 8 through balls this season.
Wow.
That is, we were sold on a team of through balls, and so far they are the worst team for through balls. And there's a problem with that. But with this kind of new, different mentality that they're going about things of countering and just hitting, kind of trying to get long balls into Latte Lat, trying to get him in behind him and Miggy and some of these other attacking pieces that you have and figure that out that way. You're starting to see an environment where he could actually probably more likely succeed.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, he'll get back, and Dyla trusts him, and Dyla has said it a lot, that he trusts that he's going to get back, and I'm sure that he will. And, this is as good a game as any for him to do it.
Depending on results from tonight, I'm just looking at the standings right now. If Atlanta wins, they can be as few as 2 points, or they can be 2 points out of playoff places if they win. Charlotte plays Toronto tonight at BMO Stadium, up in BMO Field. BMO Stadium, BMO Field. I get confused.
BMO Field is Toronto. BMO Stadium is LAFC.
It was LAFC, yeah.
No, they're at BMO Field in Toronto. They are in Toronto, I know that, to take on TFC. So if Charlotte loses and Atlanta win, Atlanta will be 2 points back. Of course, if Charlotte draw and Atlanta win, Atlanta will be 3 points back. I mean, that's. I didn't think we'd be talking about Atlanta being behind the playoff line at this stage of the season, but I mean, you take your victories as you can get them. But hopefully, this little run of form that they've been on over the past few days continues. And again, you're going with the same kind of lineup, the same kind of tactics that you've been going with. You got wins against Cincinnati and Orlando, two of the top teams in the Eastern Conference. Now do it again against Red Bulls. Here's the thing, though. Can you put together a full 90-minute effort? Because I think that's still what Ronnie Dyla is looking for. 3 points is 3 points. Doesn't matter how you get them at the end of the day. But at the same time, you don't want to dig yourself too big of a hole to come back from. Atlanta United has shown tremendous mettle and tremendous resilience to come back in back-to-back matches. Well, not back-to-back. Certainly against Orlando, and then against Cincinnati, giving up the lead. See the 2-goal lead drop to 1, 2 occasions, and then scoring twice to restore that 2-goal lead. So that takes resilience. That takes some nerve to keep your head. We've seen a lot of times when this team, their heads just drop when something bad happens, and that didn't happen against Cincinnati. They stayed focused, they stayed determined. Orlando, same thing. They just kept playing. Orlando, of course, helped you out with the red cards, but I feel like even if Orlando had 11 men, I think Atlanta would have won the match. I think they had momentum. I think they had, they were the better team. I don't think Orlando had a shot, guys. Not a shot on goal, but a shot period after the 55th minute, if I'm not mistaken. So that's just a testament to how the match just changed and how Atlanta kind of took a handle of the match after that. So that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know I said I was going to leave y'all on that last thing, but I'll leave y'all on this. So something Tony said in the chat, brother-in-law. Howdy,
yes.
Tony. But he's saying, I think MLS requires a position to do more. And this kind of goes with what you were saying, Sydney, but talking about like those front guys, like, in other leagues where you can have, millions and millions of dollars on a roster, and you can really, really go after the talent. You're not constricted by, DPs and TAM and blah, 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 fake monopoly money, whatever.
Carpet
Other
box.
leagues, the midfield is your bread and butter. You put a lot of money into the midfield, and that makes a massive difference because you know that wherever you are on the pitch, you're going to get those solid, crisp passes from those guys that are kind of controlling the tempo of the game.
Yeah.
You don't always have that in MLS. And I think, just since Atlanta was kind of coming into the league back in 2017 and then 2018 when they won it, the league has changed massively because of Atlanta. Like, you look at what Atlanta did, and then after that happened, everybody was like, hey, that's a key to success.
Right.
And then you started seeing, teams come in and invest a lot of money into guys that are speedy, that are really, really crisp on the ball, and maybe they leave the defense a little kind of wide open. And for all the teams that really took time to build really good defenses like Nashville and all that, they've done okay, but they haven't won trophies,
Yeah.
right? And, we talk about defenses win championships, and to a degree, that's true. But in MLS, it's a little bit different. So I think what you're kind of seeing now is like a team like Atlanta wanted to be this year. You want to be super well-rounded.
Yeah.
And it's incredibly hard to build a team that is that well-rounded. The closest one you've got to it in MLS to this day is Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
They're a well-rounded team that can kind of do everything on both sides of the ball, but they still have their weaknesses. Every team has their weaknesses. And I think it's time for Atlanta to kind of lean into what it was that they need to be and maybe not necessarily what they want to be. And what they need to be right now is a team that counterattacks, that hits in transition. They have the strength to do it. They have midfielders who on their day can play those through balls. Click is one of them. Obviously, Alexi growing into the season. We hope and pray that he continues to kind of be on the run that he's on. But you've got guys up top that shouldn't have to just rely on, I'm going to run back and try to get the ball and hope I can do something with it. It should be that they're fed the ball. And if they're fed the ball, latte loth, look at what Jamal Tiari's done when he's running at tired legs. You get that going, and this team is easily running the way up the standings. But you can't continue to try to play Manchester City football on a Griffin Tech budget. It's not going to happen.
Fantastic analogy.
Yeah. Or PSG football.
There you go. That works.
Shout out to PSG, by the way, for their first ever Champions League trophy. Amazing.
Yeah. Screw PSG, but whatever. Yeah. Congratulations.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's get 3 more points to that, guys. What do you think?
That'd be awesome. And then we'll talk about it after.
Yes. 3 takeaways after. I'll be hosting spaces, hopefully, after the show. Not hopefully, but definitely will be. Trying to get you guys something out from Ronnie Dyla, the press conference, and whoever talks after the match. Thanks to Sweetwater Brewery, by the way, brewing company, for their support of Scarves and Spikes. Go to scarvesandspikes.com. Yes, go to scarvesandspikes.com. Go to sweetwaterbrew.com for more information on them. Go to scarvesandspikes.com as well. And then follow us. I'm at SH Wrights. Henry's at HA Higita. Tyler's at ATL Pilgrim, I should say. Tommy's at Tommy ATL 96. Follow us. We're on X. Search for us on X. Search for us on Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram, the whole 9 yards. TikTok. We're on TikTok. We're trying to get more current on TikTok, Henry.
We need to do more TikTok trends.
Yeah. Try to keep up with the kids. But yeah, follow us at TikTok at Scarves and Spikes. We're going to try to do more content over there as much as we can. By the way, patreon.com/Scarves and Spikes as well. Join us there as well. Any final thoughts?
Just go get 3 points, man.
I agree. That's my thought as well.
Yep.
With that, we'll leave you.
All right. Well,
So
see you
long.
guys after.